Are you feeling contented or satisfied where you are today? Or you desire that God takes you to another level or He promotes you to another glory? Welcome to this week's episode of the message of PurposeKe, where I want us to unpack transformation with the theme being transformation, the journey to purpose. Transformation, a journey to purpose. Now, this theme, our point of reference, will come from the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 35. That's our leading verse, where Jesus told the disciples, let us cross over to the other side. We shall also get our references still from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 18, verse 1 to 6, where Jeremiah is talking about, the potter who is taking, the pot. He is undoing it because he feels it is not pleasing, or it doesn't look the way it's supposed to look. It does not meet the standard. It is not as at par. And therefore, this potter and does this pot. Then he makes it again. He molds it again. Then we shall also look at the life of Joseph, because Joseph is another agent of transformation from the Bible, because Joseph is going all the stages that we shall be looking at thereafter when we are talking about transformation. Now, Jesus tells the disciples, let us cross over to the other side. And he's telling them this because, in our lives, if we are able to just have a moment to reflect, there is this side that we are, but again we need to cross over to the other side, where we shall feel satisfied, we shall meet our goals, we shall feel that the vision we have been having have actually been actualized. I want us to look at three things here about transformation. Number one, there is what we call the undesired. The undesired. The undesired is where maybe we are today, where we feel that we are not where we are supposed to be. There's still a long journey that we have to go to get where we have been yearning to be, and we have been praying that God takes us to. In our businesses, in our places of work, maybe in our relationship, in our talents and gifts, in our ministry, there is where we are today, but we feel we are not satisfied, we are not contented. There is another level that we desire to be. That is where or what we are calling the undesired. The second thing is what we call the process. These are the stages that you are going to go through. These are the phases that you are going to go through so that transformation can finally come into place. Some of them include learning, preparation, separation from some things, and we shall be looking at these things or stages, and the whole of this process of development and growth from this stage to the other. We shall be looking at it. And finally, there is the desired. The desired is like our Canaan. The children of Israel were had been imprisoned, in Egypt. And they were feeling this place is undesired. We don't need to be here. Then we have the journey that they are going through, in the wilderness, crossing the sea, the river Jordan, and then getting over, getting to, even the wall of Jericho. The wall of Jericho is able to go down, and all those stages. That's what we are calling process. So because in our lives there are those stages and phases that we go through, phases of growth, of learning, of development, and then finally there is what we are calling the desired. The desired is now this place that we are calling Canaan, the Canaan where we want to be, or the glory that we want God to take us to. Now, I want to use a few examples. When we were in school, one of the things or a few things that have never been erased from my mind, it is the process in science that we were calling metamorphosis, where we had a butterfly transitioning from an egg, I think, to larvae or chrysalis, and then from there it becomes now the butterfly. So there is the undesired, there is that process that we are calling metamorphosis, and then from there we have the butterfly. Then if you look at water, water it changes from water to vapor through evaporation, and this process, it can also, this vapor, it can then condense again and go back to become water. Then sometimes, if this water also is subjected to very low temperatures, it becomes ice, it condenses, then this ice again melts through melting. So the whole of that process, and again we have the process of sublimation and all those processes, again vapor changing into ice, then into liquid, and the whole of that process. The thing is that there is one side, there is a process, and then there is the other side, which is desired. Then from there we have, of course, the in mathematics we used to change a whole number. Maybe it is 5 is then transition or transformed in terms of presentation, and it becomes 1/5. Then that 1/5 again is changed from a fraction to a decimal, that becomes 0.2, then from decimal to percentage. So all that is transformation. Lastly, even to make things easier, I don't know whether you know a piece of land which have been left for years or for some time. Sometimes it is not even fenced, it is not appealing, even sometimes waste have been dumped there. So even you don't want to, go nearer to that place, because it's even stinking. There is a very dangerous odor that's coming from that place. Then later on, there's you realize that someone came, the garbage was removed, that land, it was prepared, it was fenced. Then after that process of fencing, this piece of land again, a building or a structure is put into place. Maybe a 3-bedroom bungalow, a 4-bedroom mansion, it's placed there. Then it is a home, there's a parking, cabros placed, there's transformation. And even the way we see construction sites, sometimes you visit a construction site and you feel that this place looks chaotic, because there is water everywhere, there are stones which are not organized or arranged in any order. There is also some plants which have been uprooted, they are in a corner somewhere. This place is not desirable, even the way it looks. But as the process of building goes on, you realize that the building structure is slowly taking shape. It's taking shape, and you can almost figure it in your mind that there will be an end product that will be pleasing. And that is what now we are calling transformation.